Welcome to Tips Over Tea. This is season 2. I am so thrilled to have the opportunity to have great conversations with some amazing people. And I have the opportunity to hang out with you guys again, my guests. Make sure you have your tea, whether it be hot or cold, for the Tips Over Tea. And make sure you have your notebook so you can take plenty of notes. And if you're so inclined, bring a friend or two to join you. For now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey there, welcome back to Tips Over Tea. I am Nicole, your host, and you probably already know that if you're new to the program. Hello. I am just going to have a conversation, just me and you today. And this was spawned from the meditations that I do every morning. So if you're new to my channel, or if you hadn't noticed, that every morning, Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I just meditate. It's a silent meditation. I practice Transcendental meditation as learned through the master's program that I'm in. And I invite anyone who has had a hard time just being consistent with their meditation to join me. Now, I know that not everyone is going to be up at 5 in the morning meditating, but that's why I record it. And I invite you for accountability purposes that if you just play the recording and use that as your motivation or inspiration to be consistent, just post in the comments and let me know that you completed your meditation that day so I can celebrate that with you. I actually do it twice a day, but I only do the morning ones on YouTube because that's the one time I can be consistent at the time of day. In the evenings, I do them in the evenings, but the time varies and I can't help you be accountable if I show up at random times. So I do it at 5 a.m. in the morning. 5 a.m. in the morning. That's redundant. But so what I do is I welcome you, and then I put my microphone on mute for 20 minutes so that if there's music that you prefer to listen to or anything like that, you can play that for 20 minutes. I sometimes will put on something from Insight Timer. One of my favorite artists is Sonic Yogi. I'll put his information in the description. But during that 20 minutes is just you and the universe, spirit, God, however you want to call your higher power. And it's just the opportunity for you to just listen and be still. Now, I know there's guided meditations, and those are absolutely beneficial as well. There's just something um, a lot deeper and more profound with the silent meditation. So I want to encourage you to incorporate both styles in your practice. So I wanted to share because I've been meditating consistently, especially since learning TM, Transcendental Meditation. I was doing it consistently beforehand, but TM makes it a lot easier to stick to. But I wanted to share some of the results that I have noticed personally, and maybe it can help inspire you when you're on your journey to becoming consistent with yours. One of the things that can make it challenging is that because it's a cumulative effect from doing it, you don't notice the changes right away. So it can make it challenging sometimes to continue because you're like, why am I doing this? I can't even tell what's different. Like when you change your eating habits within a week, you can usually notice a difference, right? You're eating, you're sleeping, your exercise maybe not as much, not as quickly, but eating and sleeping habits, if you're able to improve those, you can usually tell a difference within a week. Meditation, not so much. You may feel something in the moment, but the after effects you don't necessarily notice right away. So I've been doing this for about 5 months now. I think it's been about 5 months. I'd have to look at the app because it calculates. I know it's been more than 4. Let's put it that way. And some of the things that I've noticed personally in my life, I've noticed just my cognitive function, the way I'm thinking, the way I'm processing things has improved. My energy has improved. My sleep hasn't changed that much. And it just seems like I have more stamina throughout the day and into the evenings. So I'm definitely grateful for that. What else has changed? Yeah, just more creativity, thinking better, sleeping better, communicating better, just a feeling of peace. There's sometimes I can just be sitting doing something or doing nothing, and it's like the whole world just goes quiet. And it's hard to kind of explain that unless you feel it. And it's just a very, very serene, peaceful place. And like just when I experience that, I'm like, I gotta keep meditating. Because if this is one of the results, let me do this more often. Um, and just being able to like relate to people, relate to yourself, understand yourself on a different level. Those are the things that I have noticed during my meditation. So this tips over tea is probably going to be very short because I don't have any questions to answer, and I'm not typically one who can talk for 30 minutes. I've done it before, but it's not always a thing. Um, I share this in the mornings as well, but one of some of the tips for being consistent with meditation that I would like for you to take away, other than the benefits. Well, first of all, uh, consistently, if you do practice transcendental meditation, for sure. And the reason I say this about transcendental meditation is because it is taught to every individual individually in a very systematic way. So they have been able to study and measure the results of this form of meditation more so than any other ones because everything else varies with the way it's instructed and the way people do it. But with TM, it's very consistent. So that's how you can gather so much data on it. Some of the benefits that have been noticed in people who've been practicing for a long time, I'll share that as well. Um, so it's in the past, it has been believed that your intelligence stops growing after a certain age, right? But when you start practicing transcendental meditation, it actually starts up again. So as I was reading in the text, is like at a certain age it freezes, and then when you start practicing, not start, but after you've been doing TM for a while, it unfreezes, so to speak. So I'm like, if I can get even smarter, that's great. I'm for it. Of course, stress reduction, better sleep. Um, they've noticed um, better cognition, like I've noticed for myself. It's just it changes the physiology of your body, and you just have a deeper sense of connection with other people. What they've also noticed is that if like even just 1% of the population is practicing transcendental consciousness through transcendental meditation, um, crime in that area, violence in that area goes down. So what I even before learning that, I know that everything's connected. You've probably heard that before, and that energy is transferable, and that you can connect to someone who's not even right next to you, which is how I do practice energy medicine because most of my clients, I do that virtually with them. So I understood that aspect of, your energy affecting things around you, but I never thought about how um, a certain amount of people practicing that meditation can help the environment. So I really am for that. So I'm like, let's get more people meditating. um, oops, I keep kicking that part of my desk. So sorry if that makes anybody dizzy. So some of the tips that I can share with you, and this can be applicable, whatever type of meditation that you use, but thoughts are going to come. That's like our brain is not going to stop thinking, right? So the key is not leaning into the thought, not following the trail that it leads you to. If you're a TM meditator, then as soon as you notice that your thoughts have shifted from your mantra, then just slowly bring the mantra back in. Just like if you have a sentence going, instead of the next sentence being the, make it your mantra. If you're not a TM meditator, then your breath is your cue. So as soon as you notice that your thoughts have started to bubble up, it's cool. It's normal. Don't get frustrated. Don't get judgy about yourself. Like, you're human. Welcome to being human. So as soon as you notice that, go ahead and just reconnect with your breath. Listen to your breath. How does it feel? Is it coming out cold from out of your nostrils? Is it warm? What is the temperature in the room? So that you could just bring yourself back into the present moment. Another thing is, what I love that TM teaches is like, meditation gives you what you need, your body needs in the moment. And the reason that's important is, I know you probably fall asleep or have fallen asleep while meditating. I certainly have. No big deal. If you're tired, just thank your body for um, listening and taking a nap. So as soon as you wake up, you can either continue meditating if time allows, or you just do another session a little bit later. It's not a big deal. It's what your body needed at the moment, and you honored that. So, if anything, just congratulate yourself for honoring what you needed at that moment. Um, Another thing is, David G. He actually teaches a lot about stress, and he with like corporations and the military and things like that. He always says, "Comfort is queen." So he's mentioned, he's like, if you don't get sit in a comfortable spot, then you're not going to want to come back. So however you position yourself during your meditation, be comfortable in that position. And is not to say that you can't reposition yourself if you start to get uncomfortable. Because sometimes I'll sit cross-legged, and for about maybe 15 minutes, that's good. And then after a while, my knees are like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. And so I'll just straighten my legs out. I'm still meditating. I'm not, it's not interrupting anything. There's no rule that says you have to sit a certain way. So just be comfortable, not so comfortable that you fall asleep, but be comfortable in how you're sitting during your meditation. Um, TM is recommended minimum 20 minutes a day, twice a day. And that's what I follow. But find a rhythm for yourself if you're not a meditator of TM practice. Find a rhythm for yourself. And just remember that the results are not going to be evident right away. It's a cumulative effect. This is you depositing into your well-being bank. So every day that you deposit into your well-being bank, it starts to just it fills up. It fills up. And the beautiful thing is, you can't overfill it, but you can deplete it. So if you would like more energy, more stamina, more clarity, and all of that, then one of the best ways to do that is meditating, and let that be part of your wellness regimen. So I know also sometimes it can be hard to meditate because you don't see yourself as a meditator, like it's not part of who you are. So one of the things I encourage, especially when I'm helping people create new habits, new positive habits and lifestyle changes, is to identify who you are and who you want to be, and what does that take to be that person. So if meditation is something that you want to incorporate into your lifestyle on a regular basis, then part of your being is that you are a meditator. You don't go and meditate as a separate part of your life, make the time, I have to find the time. No, it is something you do just as naturally as, at some point, it's just as naturally as getting up and brushing your teeth, or getting up and going, like doing things that are in alignment with the person you see yourself being, if that makes sense. This is tips over tea, but I've been talking the whole time, so I'm gonna take a sip of tea. I welcome any questions in the chat so that I can answer them um, as you're watching this. So what other tips might there be that have come to mind? A consistent time is great. Especially if you practice transcendental meditation, it's helpful to not have eaten a heavy meal beforehand. TM, you go into a deeper sense of consciousness, even deeper than when you're asleep. Your metabolic state actually goes slows down. So if you have a lot of food in your stomach, it could trigger sleepiness. So, and that's pretty much with anything. You sit still long enough after eating a healthy meal and a healthy portioned meal, you're probably going to fall asleep anyway. Another, let me think. Ideally, you can do it when you first wake up. If you're going to do it twice a day when you first wake up, and in the afternoon, not near bedtime and not after dinner. That those would be the ideal times. If you find in the morning that you're still a little groggy, then working out, like doing some yoga, it doesn't have to be a strenuous workout, but doing some yoga to get the blood flowing and things like that can help. Um, Help like wake you up a little bit so that you don't feel so sleepy during the morning meditation. So yes, I do mine at 5, which means I am working out between 4 and 4:30, um, and so that I can, get enough blood flowing to the brain and to the body before I take a seat and meditate. Let me see if I could think of something else. I have drawn like coloring pages. I need to just go ahead and get it out, publish it. But coloring pages for habit tracking, because my thought behind that is you get to see results before you see results. So every day you meditate, you color in a part of the image, and you color in another one the next day, and another one the next day, and you can see the picture taking shape before you notice the results of the meditation. So it still feels like you have a visual that you're actually doing something for yourself. It's a reminder that this is actually doing something for me. It's changing your physiology, your mental, your physical, your emotional state. That is um, a lot of the benefits of meditating on a regular basis. I'm telling you, a couple years ago, if you would have had asked me to have this conversation, I would be like, I can't meditate. My mind goes all over the place. I get sleepy. I can't sit still that long. I don't know if it's age. It's probably not age. It's the way my brain works. Having an understanding and considering it to be more of a I need to do this in order to feel the way I want to feel is what has helped inspired and motivated me to pick it back up. Because in the past it would be sometimes and then never, and then it was just so very sporadic and very inconsistent um, because I didn't really see the value fully. So now that I do, it's just like, yeah, I'm always I'll be talking to someone. I was like, all right, it's time for me to do my second meditation. I'll talk to you in a minute. And in the mornings, I really don't have to worry about it because 5 a.m. we're not having conversations with too many people. So it's it's definitely a must do for me personally. And my goal is to create that same need for other people, just because of the profound health effects that it has. And I know this world is full of noise, so full of noise. People with TVs on all the time, their radio on all the time. I'm not saying that's everybody, um, but it's really hard to tune out things, come into yourself, and really know what you want to do, what you like, what you desire, because you've got so much energy and influence through media and friends and coworkers and all of that. So the meditation is, I really appreciate the aspect of it giving you time to just tune in and listen. It helps with when you're going to make like decisions for yourself that are pretty big decisions, that separation from all the other people and influences, and then just sitting quietly and listening is very helpful. um, of course, in human design, if you are a self-projected projector, I get that you have to talk to people sometimes, but it would be helpful to do the meditation to just gather some ideas and thoughts and all of that, and then have the conversation with your trusted confidants. Um, so yeah, those are some of the things and tips that come to mind. I will be doing a call on human design as well. A podcast on human design. I'll have some guests. If you're not familiar with human design, it's pretty amazing. Um, yeah, I'm not going to get into that right now. But what other questions for meditation might you be asking yourself or secretly asking me? Let's see if I could tune in. I was kidding. Um, Let me think. And while I'm thinking, I will drink a sip of tea. Hmm. Actually, I'm just going to let you enjoy some silence with me for a little bit, talking about what silence is like. Let's see, I've got about 10 minutes before we hit the 30-minute mark. Would you like to meditate with me? I haven't done my second meditation. Even though I do 20 minutes, I'm okay with doing 10 for right now. We'll see. I don't have a timer. Actually, I can set a 5-minute timer. I'm going to mute the mic just in case I have background noise. I don't want to disturb. Let's just meditate for 5 minutes. Let me do this real quick for anybody who pops into the room. The room. Can you tell I used to do Clubhouse a lot. Um, yeah, so anyone who pops in, it's like, why is this person just sitting there with their eyes closed? That's interesting. All right, so let's do 5 minutes and see how that feels for you, and see what comes up, see what thoughts come up, see how you're seated, see how you're able to bring it back to your mantra or your breath. So see if you could practice some of the things I shared with you. And yeah, let's do 5 minutes. I think it finished. It blinked at me. I didn't hear any noises. I'm so used to doing 20 minutes, so it could very well have been longer. So I apologize if it's been longer than 5 minutes. Um, a couple of more tips came to mind, but I'd love for you to just take a moment to just come slowly out of that, to bring yourself back. One of the tips that came to mind while I was in meditation was if you have an itch while you're meditating, scratch it. Like it's no big deal. And let things be easy. Um, it shouldn't be hard, shouldn't be complicated. It should be effortless. And don't try to control anything, your thoughts, or anything like that. So I hope this has been helpful, motivating, inspiring. I hope you choose to pick up a meditation practice of your own. I will have in the description, or I have in the description, how you can find a TM center. I'm not an instructor yet. It's going to take a couple of years. It's very involved to become a TM instructor, and I will be doing that, but I'm not there yet. Um, Otherwise, you can choose whatever form of meditation you wish. I just want you to get the benefits, and I hope that this episode has inspired you, motivated you, encouraged you to revisit if it was something that you have struggled to stick to, or pick it up if it's something you've been considering and weren't sure about. So, all that said, thank you for visiting the show today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for doing that 5 minutes. It For some it probably felt like eternity. Baby steps. Just start from where you are. Don't judge, just do. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao for now. Mwah. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Hope you enjoyed the show and got a lot of good information. Be sure to like, subscribe, tap the bell so you know when we air again. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Enjoy the rest of your week.